All right, so we're here at Sheryll's house. Sheryll's one of our boot campers, and she has asked us to come and clean out her cupboard. So here we go. Hi, Sheryll. This is Sheryll. Okay.
I'm not sure you're going to be able to film that, but we could be surprised.
All right, okay.
I work full-time, 9 to 5 generally. 2 kids, one 15, one 10. And my husband, and he works days as well, full-time. Nutrition for me sucks. And that's no word of a lie. I was hoping you can help me.
All right, so we're gonna start with the fridge, Sheryll. Oh, I can see Ezekiel bread. Okay, so what are we doing for breakfast then, right now?
Breakfast is usually any of the smoothies, so I really like that simple morning smoothie that you had on the site as a resource, so I use that predominantly.
Yep.
If not, it's boiled eggs, scrambled eggs with toast.
So you can tell Sheryll's been through a few weeks of boot camp so far. She's on the right track. Eggs, smoothies, this. Ezekiel bread, awesome, and I see almond butter, so that's good. So we're gonna look at the ingredients: canola oil, soy, we want to get that out, sugar, as well as EDTA, which is a preservative we want to avoid. So that's gone.
I have your juices for the kids. I honestly don't drink it, but by all means.
Sugar, second ingredient, 37 grams of sugar. Well, the trouble is when we're introducing sugar, sugary foods, sugary drinks to our kids, then they turn out like you and I later on, where pulling out the sugar becomes
harder.
So difficult.
Okay.
All right. And we don't ever want to feed our kids sugar. I mean, there are healthier options you could do. I would rather you have like plain juice, even though that's not recommended for fat loss and for health, but certainly diluted orange juice would be much better than this. Okay, so
that's gone.
None of us are eating this, not even the kids. When you're looking at the nutrition facts, okay, they are helpful to a certain extent, but their serving sizes are not regulated. Okay. So the serving size of this nutrition facts is not necessarily going to be the same as this one.
Fair enough.
Okay. So you need to make sure you're comparing apples to apples when you're looking at nutrition facts. This is for 250 mils, this is for 250 mils. So we're comparing the same. This has 37 grams of sugar, and this is 27 grams of sugar. Okay. So 10 grams less per serving.
And I noticed you mentioned too that the second ingredient on this is sugar. So is that something I should be looking at as well too?
Yes.
The first ingredient, or the sequential process in which the ingredients are listed, is the highest in the content. Okay.
All right, something I found deadly in most fridges is the sour cream yogurts that we find. Vanilla yogurt, 0% milk fat. So I always tell people, you have to remember that once they've taken out the fat of the food, they have to replace it with something that makes it taste decent for you to eat it and want to go back and buy more, because fat makes food taste good. Okay, so they've either added a load full of sugar or artificial sugars, which spike your insulin, not good for fat loss, or chemical additives, okay, which can wreak havoc on your body, as well as create additional cravings for more and more sugary foods. Okay? The ingredients on this: skim milk, modified cornstarch, that's sugar, right? Whey protein concentrate, gelatin, natural flavor, encapsulated fish oil, pork gelatin, sodium ascorbate, canola oil, natural flavor. The ingredient list is huge on an item like this. So same with this. I mean, we could go on and on, but it's the same. And unfortunately, it's the same with the cottage cheese, okay? So I'm gonna look so you can see that ingredient list. These we're gonna dump, okay? Full of garbage, not great for fat loss. All right, so we're gonna go and look, make sure we're reading the ingredient list, all right? Okay, that's more important than the nutrition facts, is the ingredient. And then we have, which would appear to be your lunch, Ezekiel bread. Okay, so there's 2 pieces of Ezekiel bread. So Ezekiel bread on the spectrum of breads is great. It's a sprouted grain, but you do have to keep in mind it's still wheat, okay? So if you are wanting to really ramp up your fat loss, then you want to aim for probably not much of this. So I would say if you have had this for breakfast, then you're not going to have it for the rest of the day. Also, you could incorporate more of this or have this on particular days on your boot camp days when you've worked out. You can afford to have a little bit more carbohydrates. On those days where you're not boot camping, then you want to limit it even more. Okay? And it's again because you are trying to lose fat, right? Melba toast. Yeah, there's still sugar in this. Okay, it is down the list, but there's still sugar in it, and it's white flour. Okay? So the worst for fat loss. All right, so we're dumping that. So then we've had the Melba toast. So Melba toast and bread, double whammy, 2 carbs. Not so good. We're gonna pick one, and we're gonna pick Ezekiel bread. Okay, because it's higher in fiber. We also have an avocado. So you wanna be careful with your avocado. Is awesome. It's a great fat, but you wanna be careful pairing it with a high carbohydrate meal. It is best with protein and veggies. So this would be great on a salad, cut up in a salad. And then a boiled egg. Awesome, great, great snack. So you want to be careful because the conventional broths are often filled with, okay, water's the first one. Concentrated chicken broth base, but then there's hydrolyzed soy and corn protein, okay? Soy and corn, more than likely it's genetically modified. We want to avoid that. They've added flavor, dehydrated cane syrup, so they've added sugar to it, and then some chemicals that I can't even pronounce, and then at the end, MSG. So MSG often kind of sneaks into our sauces and our broths and our salad dressings, okay? Detrimental, it's a false protein. So what MSG does is you consume it and your body thinks momentarily that it is protein and oh, I'm full. 5 minutes later, when it realizes it's not a real protein, it sends those hunger cravings back to your brain and you eat more. Okay? So we're gonna dump this, either make your own broth, so choose the Imagine and Pacific. And they are now available everywhere. So we're dumping that. Gross chicken broth. All right, same thing with the barbecue sauce. Loaded with chemicals and sugar. Water, sugar, glucose, fructose is your second ingredient, okay? And then we have modified cornstarch and then a whole bunch of other colors and chemicals, okay? We're gonna ditch this. All right, skim milk, cream, and bacterial culture. This one wins right here. What I would rather you do, and I know if kids like to have fruit with their yogurt, is just to add their own berries. Cinnamon is also a good alternative because it makes it, you know, if you need to give it a little bit more taste. But,
and is that the guidance that you're giving in the log where you talk about the number of ingredients, like try to limit it to a set amount? Because the more it is, then I guess the more additives there are to the food, right? Okay.
Yeah.
No, fair enough.
Yeah. See that long ingredient list? Glucose, fructose, soybean oil, EDTA. They added color, propylene glycol. So what can we do instead? Make your own, so easy to make, and stick it in a container like that and keep it in the fridge. A little bit of oil, a little bit of vinegar, some spices, and it has no sugar, no chemicals. So we have more barbecue sauce, glucose, fructose, sugar is the first ingredient, same with ketchup, but the second one is liquid sugar. So this is how I think it sneaks up to us. You might be eating a lot of great protein, right? You might be having chicken. If it's barbecued, laden with this type of sauce, in the long run, it's just going to spike your insulin levels as well. Okay, so you want to watch out for those. It's better to make your own or not have it at all. But with the salad dressings like we talked about, Sheryl, making it on your own, sticking it in the fridge, way better than this kind of stuff. Totally filled with sugar. Okay, so we have a blend of couscous, orzo pasta, red quinoa, and garbanzo beans. All right, so great for fat loss? No, not so much. Couscous is very starchy, it's a grain, it's wheat, okay, so is the pasta, all right, it's white flour. The beans and the red quinoa I would say are good, but you see how much red quinoa there is to, not so much. This is not gonna help with the fat loss, all right? So that's in moderation. If you wanted to have like a really fancy Saturday night, do it up. You could have a little bit of that. Cheat day. Yeah. Ooh, okay. All right. And we have these crackers, stoned wheat thins, whole grain wheat flour, enriched wheat flour. Okay. So, but I don't think you want to have crackers as a cheat. No. Right.
Go big or go home.
Yeah. Okay. So let's get rid of those. Healthy Harvest pasta. So better option would be spelt. Okay. Right now, anywhere you go, you can find ancient grain pasta. All right. There's quinoa pasta. There's spelt, there's kamut. You want to make sure that there's no corn in it. Healthy Harvest is not a healthy harvest. All right, oatmeal crisp. Whole grain oat, whole grain wheat, sugar, and golden sugar, almond pieces, whole grain rolled out oats, golden syrup because the sugar wasn't enough, and more corn syrup, artificial flavor, and a whole bunch of other monosaturated canola oil. The list goes on and on. Not a good choice for fat loss. Not great to start our morning. Start your morning with your insulin jacked up and all you're gonna do is crave garbage for the rest of the day. So we love oatmeal, but you need to make sure that you're having it on your workout days. You need to be sensitive and listen to your body, because we have had some boot campers who have had to struggle with the weight and haven't been able to get it down. And as soon as they cut out the oatmeal that they were having every morning, they noticed a huge difference. So remember, everybody has a different kind of tipping point with how many starchy foods that they can personally handle, maybe only on the days that you're working out. Another thing you can do to drop the insulin levels is, she has a wonderful protein North Coast Naturals, awesome. You can add a scoop to that, and that's going to increase the protein, decrease the insulin response. Okay, Sheryll, rapid fire round, filled with sugars. We already talked about this, filled with sugar. Couscous, no. Okay, and agave nectar, hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it's basically high fructose corn syrup. Same components, has the same effect on our bodies. I know we still see it in a lot of natural foods. They did dupe us, they duped us well, but you want to get rid of it. I would rather you have maple syrup, okay? Canadian 100% maple syrup, not Jemima, Aunt Jemima, okay? All right, the real deal. All right, let's get rid of that. Soy sauce. The ingredients are water, soybeans, salt, sugar, caramel. They added wheat to it. There's sulfites. Not all soy sauce. There's some great organic soy sauces, gluten-free, that don't have these ingredients, and it's nice. I cook my Brussels sprouts. Like, I saute them lightly with a little bit of soy sauce, and even my grandfather, who won't touch a vegetable, will eat them, okay? So we're gonna get rid of that. Kind of same thing, we talked about the pasta. It's gone. Granola boost with omega-3. Ooh, sounds great. Lots of sugar, okay? Not a good way to start your morning. Extra chunky salsa. I love this. President's Choice. There's no sugar in it, which is surprising. You gotta check your salsas. A lot of them have sugar. This one doesn't. So this is great. And as we threw out the ketchup, this is a great substitute we use on our eggs in the morning. Baked beans. First ingredient is sugar, so we're gonna get rid of that. If you're looking for an alternative, Amy's has great soups. Okay, they have great lentil soup. I love their lentil soup. It's in a can, so always have it on hand because you don't always have time to make homemade soup. Okay, so you wanna make sure you stock your pantry with these things. And here we go with peanut butter, all right, the good and the bad. All right, so this one is the blue menu, just peanuts. It literally is peanuts, okay? So peanut butter, not my favorite choice. I would prefer almond, but certainly if you don't have peanut allergies, you could have this in moderation. Maybe add it to your shake in the morning. Loaded, you should see the ingredient list with sugar. And then there's hydrogenated vegetable oil, which is trans fats. Okay, wreaking havoc on our systems, on our hearts. We're gonna get rid of that. Thick and rich tomato sauce. So guess what's in this? Sugar! And then corn syrup as well, add to the list. So alternative, Longo's brand makes a great tomato sauce. Their tomato and basil, I think it is. It's delicious and there's no sugar. You can make your own even better. And I see you have some tomatoes, some crushed tomatoes. Super easy to make your own. Cream style corn, sugar, second ingredient, modified cornstarch, third ingredient. Corn is not our friend, not great for fat loss. Look, we have the coconut oil, love this. We use this for sauteing or cooking. We saute vegetables in this, okay? Your Brussels sprouts with your new soy sauce you're gonna get. Cooking eggs in the morning are great with this, okay?
Not like an olive oil or...
An olive oil is okay, but olive oil is better cold, so it's better to use for your dressings, okay?
Okay.
And this has a higher threshold for heat. And lastly, and then this was some sort of chocolate cereal for the boys. They don't like me anyways after the Nesquik. Toss that. All right, so these are the contents of Sheryll's kitchen that we got rid of. We'll see how much her family likes us tomorrow, but it looks like we've got through, and I think she's gonna make some really great significant changes for the next few weeks. And we really encouraged her to cut down on those grains and those high starchy foods, and hopefully she's gonna see even more gains in her fat loss.